Why, hello there. Welcome to Smart Aspirations with Justin Huff. Sit back, chill out, and go on a journey around the world. Around the world. Justin will discuss tales of hope, discovery, and general irreverence with some of the most dynamic personalities in the travel business. Remember, we do cool shit, and so can you.
What's up? What's up? Happy Wednesday podcast party people. My name is Justin Huff and you are listening to Smart Aspirations. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're honored that you're here and we have a really, really cool show for you today. It's an interview that involves a destination that's extremely near and dear to my heart. Nothing about this is scripted or outlined. I just wanted to speak from the heart. Russia is a second home for me. And it was the most, I look back on my times in Russia and my time studying Russian language and literature and Slavic culture in college is some of the happiest times of my life. When I first went to Russia in 2005, it really changed my life. There at the time, and you'll see in the interview how things have changed. Nobody really spoke English. There was a huge language barrier, and I had a little bit of an advantage studying the language at university and having phenomenal professors and an excellent program at the University of South Carolina. And shout out to the Russian program in USC. And in any event, it was just my time there was so immersive and just shatters every stereotype that you would think about Russia. Chances are right now we can't ignore it. It is 2020, and within the last 4 years, if you've been a slave to CNN or Fox News, which I don't recommend at all, no doubt that there's been a less than favorable picture painted about Russia from the mainstream media at Russia's expense. And no, I'm not a Russian spy. Thank you very much. This is one of the most beautiful and touching and open and deep, it just incredibly fascinating cultures on this planet. I cannot tell you how much I get goosebumps when I read classics like Ivan Turgenev, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, Nabokov. All of these incredible classic writers from the Silver Age just are masters. And I go back and I read Crime and Punishment, for example, over and over and over again as time goes by, and as it changes, as my life changes, the book changes and the perspective changes. And these guys, there's an expression, and I'm going to butcher it. I think it's like izlit dusha or izlit dushu, which means to pour out your soul. And there's also this misconception that Russian people are closed. They're not emotional, and they don't welcome people from the outside, which is complete and total bullshit. I cannot tell you that how many times I've stayed up late at a Russian's apartment, listening to them pour out their soul about life and the world and themselves and their families and the challenges that they've faced. And what a country that just has showcased different periods of history from Imperial Russia to Kiev, even before that, Kievan Rus, and to the Soviet Union, and to the rise of modern Russia, with the fall of the Berlin Wall and Perestroika, and then obviously the rise of Vladimir Putin. It's just been this wild and crazy ride, but one consistent thing has always been there, and that's the people are just extraordinary. They're very, very strong, and we're unfortunately, there's all these stereotypes when people think about traveling to Russia as a destination. All of these in people's psyche, all these negative stereotypes come to mind, and from somebody that's given so much of their life to that country. I say that is complete bullshit. It's a country that will change your mind. And to quote Jack Wheeler from episode 3 and 4 of this podcast and YouTube video, have the courage to challenge what you think to be true. That could not be more of an understatement for going to Russia. And I hope that my conversation with our ground handler. I want to thank Miceversa for coming on. Vladimir and Anastasia were incredible guests. And this is the first time we've actually had more than one guest on the show. So that was a bit of fun. And again, you'll see the conversation. We talk about breaking the stereotype in addition to discussing the really cool things that you can do in Russia. And it's not just, seeing the Kremlin. There's some really cool behind the scenes activities that you can do to make any trip to Russia absolutely spectacular. And, going off the beaten path, not necessarily just doing Moscow and St. Petersburg, which are integral parts of any trip to Russia. But yeah, I mean, it's just a massive, obviously, there's 11 time zones, I believe, looking at Russia from Vladivostok to all the way to Kaliningrad in Europe, which is a little satellite part of Russia that's, I'm looking at the map now, so I'm cheating. It's right north of Poland and south of Lithuania, right in the Baltics. But again, it's just a really, really beautiful and special place. So I hope that this inspires you to consider Russia as a destination for you. It's definitely not for everybody. I would say that it appeals to people that have an interest in history, that like to go to places that are kind of, I want to use the term free of being kind of a social media, social media and a mainstream media pond. You're not going to hear anything positive about it from there, but I can assure you that it is an incredible, incredible, life-changing place. And you look back about the periods of my life that were so influential, and that's probably the biggest one, to be honest. It made me, I had no choice but to get out of my comfort zone. I had no choice but to survive. I had no choice but to assimilate into the culture, learn the language, eat the food. And the coolest part about all of this is that I made lifelong friends that we're still in touch today. I have not been back to Russia in quite some time. I look forward to going back very, very soon. Can't say when that will be due to COVID, but again, it's something that I'm chomping on the bit to see and experience. But we hope you enjoy. As always, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the podcast on whatever your preferred favorite streaming medium is. We'd love to have you along this journey. We have no plans of stopping. We're going to keep bringing you incredible guests from all over what we like to call the exotic parts of the world. We're not going to have Mickey Mouse here. So, well, and again, I keep saying in any event, I hope you enjoy. So in any event, hope you enjoy. Take care.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to Smart Aspirations with Justin Huff. This week is a first in the history of the show. We have two guests joining us, and I am thrilled to have Anastasia and Vlad from our ground handler in Russia, Miceversa. They're joining us live from their office in Moscow. They're staying late for us just to hang out. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. How's everything going?
Thanks, Justin. Thanks for invitation. Everything is great.
Excellent.
Hi. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Oh, anytime. So I've kind of recorded an introduction for this episode, and I am so excited about this because I used to live in Russia, specifically in Moscow, where you guys are. It's my second home. It's the city that kind of made a man out of me, so to speak, back in 2008. How has life changed in Moscow from 2008 until now? It's been 12 years ago. I'm sure, since then you've got World Cup and just all sorts of changes going on.
Yeah, the life has changed. Probably when you will come, you will not recognize the Moscow, and you will not recognize the Russia itself, because so many things changed. Russia become more attractive and more welcoming for international guests. So happily, we had so many international events in Russia. For the time in 2014, we had an Olympic Games in Sochi. We had FIFA World Cup 2018 in Russia as well. So everything has been changing. The service is becoming more on the high level. So everyone more or less speaks English in the streets. So people learning languages. It's not like before in the beginning of 20s or in the 90s
Sure.
when you are on the streets and you have nobody that can help you or etc.
That's very relatable.
Yeah, so many international chain hotels has come to the Russian market. So for the moment, anywhere you travel in Russia, you will definitely have some hotel from Marriott or Radisson or Hyatt even. So the infrastructure become more comfortable for English-speaking people, because we have signs in English, we have announcements in public transport like in metro. The next station is Belarus. Yes, and
I still remember all of the old metro, the Russian metro sign, like "Уважаемые пассажиры," and it was like
Двери закрываются.
Exactly, двери закрываются, which means like doors are closing. But it's so funny. Like I first went to Russia in 2005, and I had a little bit of an advantage because I took a few courses in university. It was and I ended up minoring in Russian. I liked it so much. But to somebody that's going there for the first time, it can be extremely difficult because infrastructurally everything was in Russian. The majority of the people, there was a massive language barrier, and I could, I really enjoyed it because I could kind of cruise around, but to the uninitiated it would be really, really difficult. But now that's totally changed.
It completely has changed, starting from the signs in the airport on your arrival. Everything is translated into English, so you will not lose your way to taxi or to a train, a fast train. We have Aero Express that connects airports to the city center.
Right.
So, and their navigation is in English and announcements in English. And the city itself, the cities, I mean, not only Moscow, but St. Petersburg, Sochi. So they somehow improve the infrastructure. The city looks more modern. It's clean.
Right.
So, and the streets.
I always remember Moscow being like really clean, relatively speaking, to other huge capitals in the world. But one of the like I said, the last time I was there was 2008, and I remember they just started kind of building Moscow City, the big modern skyscraper area of the city, and it was just kind of interesting to see the contrast between the old Stalin buildings and the new modern high rises, and it was just so totally different.
Yes, it is, and we have more skyscrapers being built in that area now.
Still.
And we have, you remember those buildings, Seven Sisters?
Yes. Yeah, the old Stalin buildings. Yeah.
And we have two more construction of that style, but in modern architectural looking. So the one is office building, and another is a house for rich people.
Okay.
Like Triumph Palace. Yes.
Moscow is definitely not a cheap place to live, for sure. I can only imagine what the rent is at those places. Well, you were talking about Russia and clients visiting Russia for the first time. Obviously, the two big stops are always going to be Moscow and St. Petersburg, and you see a lot of marketing material, and there's so many different tours that people can book, and so many different private. We only do private guided excursions with special access. What are some of it specifically? Let's start in Moscow. What are some of the more special access experiences that guests can expect to have with us when they visit Moscow?
Well, let me tell you about it. So basically, first of all, long-time pleasure to be here,
Yes, for sure, man.
In addition to what Anastasia said, I would like to point out that Moscow and St. Petersburg are very safe cities nowadays, It's like any other probably modern European capital, and it's very developed in a matter of tourism infrastructure overall, and it's changed a lot really during past 12 years since you've been here. So so you probably you would be pleasantly surprised, I would say. So it's in a matter of service, in a matter of number of hotels and infrastructure overall, and as Anastasia said, with the signs in English, with all the even announcement in trains,
right.
you have it in English.
Right.
So in this matter, it's much more easy, for a guest to be here. So, but for special, activities and some special things that we are doing in Moscow and St. Petersburg. First of all, let me tell you that we are specializing in it, and have very good experience. And obviously, when you come to Moscow, there are certain must-see places that you need to visit, like Kremlin, like
of course.
Red Square, like St. Basil's Cathedral, and so on. But we always try, to enhance guest experience, to add this special VIP touch that makes a wow effect. So for Moscow, one of the things that we can do is organize a private tour to Grand Kremlin Palace.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place where our Russian president takes an inauguration, where he meets foreign guests, foreign presidents. So it's very special, place. And
so
you can
all of those scenes that you see the president meeting with dignitaries and things like that on the news, that is pretty much, you can find it anywhere. You can get guests inside that building.
Yeah, correct.
Wow.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
This is a very special thing, and you can buy a ticket, outside on the street or something like that.
Right.
So
right.
this is a special access, and obviously there are certain restrictions, but this is doable. So this is something that we can do. In addition, yes, everyone heard about Bolshoi Theater, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We can organize a backstage tour to Bolshoi Theater, where you can see the theater by yourself. Basically, this is a very unique experience when you enter this. Yeah, when you enter this when you enter Bolshoi Theater and just you being there alone, you see the stage. There is a chance to see rehearsals there.
Oh, cool.
So it's
cool.
Yeah. So there is this is very, very unique. Obviously, for other activities in Moscow, there is always a special touch that you can do. Like a private boat trip on Moscow River with.
Right. Oysters or something.
Yeah, with oysters or red and black caviar. Yes, you can't miss caviar when you come to Russia. So
you got to.
Vodka and caviar tasting is one of the must-see things to do in Russia. Yes,
definitely.
Yeah, and one more special place that I would like to tell you about is a Star City that is located just basically 1 hour drive outside Moscow.
Okay.
It's an actual functioning cosmonaut training center. So It's basically where Russian and actually US cosmonauts are taking training before going to International Space Station via Soyuz. So there is a possibility even to see this actual training going, and even meet some of the cosmonauts, and talk with them about their experience in the space. So
that's amazing. I don't know if you guys follow on Instagram. The ISS Instagram page is just incredible, and it's really, really cool to see both American and Russian cosmonauts out there just having this incredible experience and just sharing it with the rest of the world. So I'm sure clients going to Russia, a lot of them have seen that, and that would be a really, really cool experience to offer. And that can be done as like a half day, or.
Yeah, it's normally takes at least half a day, 1 hour to go there. At least you will spend there between 2 and 4 hours. It depends on what you want to see, because there are a lot of things to see, different replicas of actual space crafts or actual. Okay. Yeah, or even have some space food tasting, or
space food.
Yeah, this is also possible. So yeah, it's a very special place. Yes, and would be happy to arrange this. Yes, definitely. So and Moscow offers a lot of things to do, very, very unique things to do, and very interesting things to do, and there is always a way to really enhance this experience and add this wow factor.
Okay.
Yeah, as for St. Petersburg, well, first of all, let me probably tell you about how it's easier to get from Moscow to St. Petersburg nowadays, because I believe in 2008, when you've been here, you were still taking a flight from Moscow to St. Petersburg.
No, you can. Most people flew, but I took this. The two times I went to St. Petersburg when I was living in Moscow, I took the overnight train, but it was like, God, like 11 hours or something really long. And I didn't have any money at the time, so I was in the cheap seats, and it's like 4 to a thing, and you're 4 people and you're sleeping up on the top and stuff, but it wasn't bad. It was you meet friends or whatever, you have a couple of shots of vodka and some beer, and then you wake up and you're there and you're ready to go. So
it's kind of authentic experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for everyone, but
no,
definitely authentic. Yeah,
when you're young and you're what, I was like 24 years old, something less than that, like 22. I didn't care.
I can imagine. So happy to inform you, that now there is a high-speed train running between Moscow and St. Petersburg, and it takes basically only 4 hours to get from one city to another.
4 hours?
Yes.
So you
only 4 hours. Yeah.
Have breakfast in Moscow, arrive in St. Petersburg for lunch, or vice versa.
Exactly,
Miceversa, no pun intended.
Miceversa. Yeah, only 4 hours. Basically, it's trains are departing daily, approximately every 2 hours. So you basically have a breakfast in hotel, and you can depart at 9 o'clock from Moscow, and in 4 hours at 1 p.m. you will be in St. Petersburg. So, and train departs from city center to city center. So, and you don't need to pass through some complex registration process. You can just arrive 5 minutes before train departure, jump on it, and in 4 hours. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, super simple.
Yeah, I remember it being a lot more chaotic in terms of not chaotic, that's not the right word, but there was a lot of, waiting and bureaucratic stuff that you had to go through before, like, I don't know if it was security or just procedure or what it was, but no, that's huge. And that saves you all of the airport check-in procedures, the taxiing time, the rechecking the luggage, blah, 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 blah. That's so easy, for sure.
Exactly. Definitely. So this is the best way to travel, and there are it's a very modern European, nice quality train, so it's very, very easy and comfortable.
Awesome.
So this would be the easiest way. And then you arrive to St. Petersburg, depending on the train. If you're taking morning train at 1 p.m., you're already there. And from there, you can go to hotel, you can go to restaurant, you can go for a tour. Mm-hmm. So basically, you still have full day, ahead of you to explore St. Petersburg. So this is great. And as for St. Petersburg, again, there are some must-see places that you definitely will go, like St. Isaac's Cathedral, St. Basil's Cathedral, I'm sorry, not St. Basil's, but Church of the Spilled Blood, or Kazan Cathedral. Mm-hmm. But again, there are some special activities that can always enhance your experience, while visiting St. Petersburg. Like, definitely one of the interesting things is night visit to Hermitage, when you can be there completely alone. I'm sure you heard about Hermitage,
Oh yeah, I've been. I've been, but it was during the day, and it was. First of all, I mean, I can't say enough about how enormous this place is, and the works of art that are in this museum are, and having done like the Smithsonian and the Metro in New York, and this thing blows them all away. And I'm not just saying that for the sake of this conversation; it really does. And just to have that entire place at night by yourself, that's really, really special.
This is one once in a lifetime experience. This is something really to explore and to see. Another thing, obviously, I'm not talking. Well, let me mention it. Helicopter flights over St. Petersburg also,
cool.
and an experience by itself. So to see city from a different perspective, it's something that we definitely recommend.
Well, and just of course, I'm sorry, I was going to say, just to see, I mean, the way that St. Petersburg was built, I mean, you're basically talking about swampland that, Peter the Great just made into his own city, and how all the canals work and are connected. That's got to be spectacular from the air.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that it's a must to experience. It's completely different feeling compared different perspective from the city. So yeah, definitely
Totally
would
agree.
recommend, to experience it. Yeah, another thing, obviously different kind of private accesses that we can organize. For example, I don't know if you heard about, well, I'm sure you heard about Catherine Palace, one of the most beautiful palaces to see in St. Petersburg, and there are always super long lines. I mean, you can wait for hours to get there, and we can get a private access, private entrance with private guide. So, yeah, if this is worth
time is
taking.
luxury.
Yeah, time is luxury. Yeah, there is nothing. You can buy anything for money, but but time. So
Seriously.
yeah, this is most important one. Yeah, but and generally speaking, we have multiple such unique activities that we can offer. It all depends. Every program that we are working on or that we are providing, it's tailor-made. It's developed depending on the requirements, on the preferences of what guests want to see. If they want to see some cultural experience, if they want to have some cuisine or experience, this is all can be tailor-made and made just for the specific guest.
That's perfect.
So it's just a must see, probably. It's a really unique experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and not talking about visiting private visit to vodka museum and tasting of vodka with red and black caviar.
That's cool.
So this is something that you need to do in Russia.
That's awesome.
And Fabergé Museum.
Which the Fabergé Museum?
Fabergé Museum, yeah, maybe with a master class with some famous artist.
Oh, that's
or
awesome.
Master class with the matryoshka painting.
You can do that.
Something. Yeah, sure.
Wow. Okay, that would be really cool. I mean, I remember when I was young, my grandparents went to Russia. Gosh, this is probably back in the '60s, and they brought back all these really cool matryoshkas that were just obviously hand painted, just really nice collection. So I've got some myself from my travels there, and if anybody comes, I think that's like a must bring back. Just a really cool handmade matryoshka one. So no, that's awesome, hands-on experience.
Yeah, and traveling with us, you can bring matryoshka that you made by your own hands.
Yeah, that's really cool. You can't say that a lot. I mean, people just they go in there and they buy and they ship stuff back, but that's actually theirs. So I think that makes a huge impression. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. And in terms of like Russian culture that listeners might not be aware of, what are some of your favorite parts about Russian culture? This is for both of you. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about part of your culture that you'd love to share with the world that people might not be aware of.
Yeah, the first is to break stereotypes. The Russian people, they're not open, they're closed, they're strong, and etc. No, Russian people, they are open-minded, they are very hospitable, they are very friendly, and even when you are traveling alone, without any person who is hosting you, and etc. Everywhere in the street, if you will ask a question to any person, even if they don't speak English, they will try to help you. They will try to find a way how to help you. If they don't speak English, they will use the Google Translator or some other app. Yeah, sure. And it's not only words. We experienced that with our clients, and they were like, "Wow, it's completely different that we've heard about Russians." So this is the first stereotype that people always break when they're traveling to Russia, maybe first time or second time. So Russians, they have changed from the period of USSR. So now it's more friendly public in the streets. So this is one of my favorite cultural points that I always trying to highlight for our
sure.
clients and friends abroad.
And Anastasia, I completely agree with you, and I really mean that. I have spent so many nights with Russians in their apartments just laughing and talking. I have been in incidents where, not incidents, but I've been in situations where I've been lost or had to ask for directions. And this isn't just in Moscow. This is like in Kazan. This is in St. Petersburg. This is in Vladimir. Like they're very, very, like if they see somebody that's kind of struggling or lost, especially if you're making an effort and you're being a good global citizen, and it's not, these are just old media stereotypes that obviously will go away with time, but that's part of our duty to get that word out. And I think that you really hit the nail on the head for sure. And what about you, Vlad?
Well, I definitely agree with Anastasia, with you, about Russian and Russian mentality, because Russian people generally are very friendly, very open. It's just a stereotype that we need to change. But generally speaking, overall, we as a team here, me, Anastasia, our team here, we are trying to bring the experience for people visiting Russia. Normally, you wouldn't visit Russia, 2, 3, 5, 10 times during your life. It's more of a once in a lifetime experience. And we want it to be, really remarkable, memorable, unique. Something that you will remember for the rest of your life. Remember how the Russians were amazing, how the cities and the country was beautiful, and this is something that we're trying to bring. That is something that we're trying to promote, and this is something that we're trying to show to the world and to U.S. citizens, to entire world, generally speaking. Yeah, this is the experience of visiting Russia. The meeting the cultures, meeting the people. Being here, this time that a person will spend here should really, really stay with him for the entire life, as a unique memory. This is what we're trying to do. Yeah.
I totally agree with you. You mentioned like once in a lifetime experience, and for guests that are going beyond Moscow and St. Petersburg, Russia is obviously a huge country, and there's so many other regions to explore and discover. And I think that kind of the selection is kind of based on clients' interests and needs. Could you, what are a few, and both of you can answer this, what are a few of your favorite areas to visit outside of the cities?
Yeah, I can start, yes. Well, obviously everyone knows Moscow and St. Petersburg, but for me personally, it's my next favorite area, one of my favorite areas is Sochi. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about the city. Yeah, I'm sure you did. It's a place where Olympic Games 2014 took place, and I got to know this place I think in 2012 or 2011 when it was just the beginning of preparation to the Olympic Games. It was a small city on the Black Sea, on the south of Russia, and it was very simple, very, very casual, and it was, in reality, it was nothing special, But during these 4 years of preparation to Olympic Games, it was just drastic changes that happened there. The city grew to very, very modern, very, very unique resort or place to be in the south of Russia, basically on the Black Sea. What is unique about it is that it has two different clusters. It has a cluster by the sea where you can enjoy the sun, where you can enjoy water activities and any type of other water activity, whatever. You got to cut it, yeah.
Water activities is good.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, and there is another cluster. So basically, it's a mountain cluster. And the mountain cluster is up in the mountains, and it is the place where you can snowboard, where you can ski, where you can visit casino, where you can just enjoy mountains and going on top of it and enjoy barbecue, or even I think jump in a bungee of 180 meters or something like that, So so it's a great combination, It's for summer. It's you have great warm weather. You have great hotels. Also, all international hotels are there, and great infrastructure that was built and developed.
Oh, right.
So, and for winter, and actually, at Formula One, one of the tours for Formula One is taking place in Sochi. So, and for winter, I mean, the beautiful mountains, also great hotels, great resort, casino there, and so it's a combination of these two factors that located in one city, and this is a city that basically grew during 4 years before the Olympic Games. So it was drastic change, and for me, it's probably one of the best places to visit in, with exception, to Moscow and St. Petersburg.
In Sochi, historically, that's where I guess the well-to-do of society over different periods in Russia's history had they had dachas, or they had these countryside homes, right?
Yeah, definitely. There is actually a place called Stalin's dacha. Okay. It's actually dacha of Stalin that he visited, when. So just for historical,
It's great for history buffs, for sure.
Great for history, great for tourists. So you can visit the place, and see it. But this is a place where Russian people traveled, to the south, where they had dachas and old type of homes, and there are still those you can find there. So this is interesting combination, for
awesome.
History and modern, development.
I'm into it. Let's do it. Anastasia, what are your favorite? What's a region that really speaks to you outside of Moscow and St. Petersburg?
Yeah, personally speaking, I love cities around Moscow because they are very special for cultural and historical stuff. So, and thanks maybe to COVID, that our Russian travelers, they started to explore this area around Moscow and around the cities, because before there were not so many people traveling inside Russia. So everyone, they were trying to go somewhere abroad, to Europe,
sure.
etc. And for the moment, I'm really very happy to see the posts in my social media, people traveling to Nizhny Novgorod, people traveling to Design, to people with Golden Ring, that we have a route, with the cities called Golden Ring, and there are so many history and culture there. You may take a river cruise along the Moscow River, and etc. But if you have time, that Russia is huge, and if we are not talking about weekends, but talking about vacations, or if you have at least a week, I would definitely go to Kamchatka or to Siberia, to Lake Baikal. Yeah, that's my favorite part of Russia, because it's really has an extraordinary nature. If we talk about Kamchatka, with the volcanoes, with the ocean, with the fishing, and etc. So it's very, very wild place, very far. Actually, from Moscow, it takes 10 hours flight. And Baikal, everyone knows Baikal. Baikal is the the biggest lake in the world.
In the world, yeah. Well, I think that you can actually fly from Alaska to Vladivostok, if I'm not, and then you can get up to...
probably faster than flying through Moscow.
Yes.
It's closer. It's closer to go to Vladivostok than Moscow.
And actually, Vladivostok is my native city.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I can be your guide.
Okay. Okay, this is part of the show. I'm curious. How did you get from Vladivostok to Moscow? That's quite a change.
Yeah, because originally my family is from Moscow, but
okay.
I was born in the Far East here, so it's like
awesome.
A USSR story.
That's cool. That's really cool. A fascinating history. But yeah, I mean, I think Kamchatka, and for somebody that's looking for something that's truly off the beaten path that really hasn't been explored by mainstream tourism, it's so cool. It looks like, oh my God, it's like a different planet almost, with the volcanoes, like you said, and you can tour around by helicopter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The helicopter is probably the only way you can tour around Kamchatka.
Yeah.
No roads.
if the weather allows. But sometimes when the weather is nice, the sun is shining, no rain, and etc., you may climb to volcanoes.
Oh, cool.
It takes many hours,
Right.
and it's not for everyone.
Sure.
But
Sure.
yeah, you may climb volcanoes not with a helicopter only. With a helicopter, you may fly to the highest mountains there around the mountain area, and
Cool.
this is an experience of a life.
Yeah, I'm sign me up. That's something that I would do in a heartbeat for sure.
Last year, yeah, we had a group. They were traveling around the world, so with their own, with their private plane.
Mhm.
So, and they had 1 day in Kamchatka,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, we were the company that hosted their stay in Kamchatka,
Right.
and the main how to say impression for them were crabs. You know that Kamchatka is the territory with the big crabs, and they were really delighted and making pictures with those
Right.
big red crabs. And,
Right. I haven't seen those. I'll have to check that out. Well, what we'll do is we'll put a photo up here on the YouTube video so people can see that. That'll be really awesome. Now, we're talking about going from Moscow all the way to the Far East in Kamchatka and Vladivostok and Baikal, and there's so many different little regions across Russia, and I would imagine that they all have different like regional cuisine, regional food, and things like that make it different. Tell us about Russian food and why it's amazing, and why ukrop must be on everything. That's dill for everybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about.
By the way, do you know how ukrop in English?
Ukrop? It's dill.
That's
yeah. No comment.
So we have plenty of different cuisines in Russia. First of all, it's traditional Russian cuisine,
Mhm.
Russian food. Everyone knows borscht, blini,
Right.
that is actually pancakes, like in European manner.
Sure, but it's better.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, we have Caucasian food. Caucasian food is for khinkali. It's like Russian pelmeni, but
Right.
different style of cooking. We have Tatar Republic, so we have Tatar food.
Right.
We have European food as well. So because if you travel to Russia, you will never have a problem with the food, because we have so many restaurants, not only in Russian style, not only Russian tradition, Caucasian, Tatar, I don't know, Siberian food with some special meats and berries, but also European, Asian food, like Chinese food, Japanese food, Korean food, and etc. Vladimir wants to add something.
He's getting excited about food. It's almost dinner time anyway.
Who doesn't like food? Yeah. No, but generally speaking, Russia is can offer really gastronomical experience. Once traveling here, you can experience really different type of cuisines. I mean, not only Russian, it can be Ukrainian, it can be Georgian,
Mhm.
it can be seafood cuisine. So every restaurant by itself, for example, when we are making a program for our guests, coming to Russia, we are making sure that their gastronomical experience is by itself an experience, something that they will remember and say, wow, that was an amazing restaurant, but this one is better, Yeah. So it's completely it's a real variety, of different tastes and unique restaurants that we have now here. So definitely, so in this area there is so many options and so many places to visit. So yeah.
That was like one of many of my favorite parts of living in Moscow was the diversity of food that you could have every single night. And I was living in this little tiny place. I didn't even have a kitchen. I was eating out all the time. And so it's like, okay, what do you want tonight? Do I want Russian? Do I want Georgian? Do I want Uzbek? Do I want Japanese? Do I want it? And the list goes on and on and on, like you said. And I remember, I don't know if it's still there. It was called the Vivitse in Moscow, and that's where they had like these pavilions for different countries from all around. It was all of the old Soviet republics. So they had one for like Azerbaijan, they had one from Georgia, they had one from Armenia, they had one from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, everything. And they all had regional cuisine from that particular area, that particular country. That was one of the most fun places on the planet. You can just kind of pick 3 or 4 and just eat yourself stupid experiencing different cuisines. Is that still around?
It's still around. Miceversa was renovated, so it's still around. And but now it's even easier, you know, because now they're creating this type of international food courts. But not just a simple food court, you know, not a fast food type of food court, but a food court where you can experience high quality, you know, cuisine of different regions, of different areas in different countries, you know. It's a place where you can go, for example, on a date in the evening, you know, and just enjoy a glass of wine and just choose whatever you feel like, you know. It's with a very nice service and quality. So, and these areas now you can find in the center of Moscow in several places, you know. Now it's even easier, you know, to access those.
That's awesome. I'm glad that it's still around. It just sounds like it's like kind of upped its game. So I know that you're not supposed to date podcasts, so to speak, but we are in the middle of 2020 here. It's September. And it's obviously been a rough year for people with COVID. Take me through both of your experiences with when you were like, oh my gosh, this is really, really serious. And how has Russia responded to the crisis?
So it started in March when we felt that something is going on. We felt it from our conference call with our Italian partner, and it was the mid of March. So, and we decided to close the office, and the whole time we were working distant from home. So the whole company of Miceversa, everyone is still here. So we've not stopped our operation. I mean, not operation, but operation. Yeah, we've been working all the time. So we've been creating new products, new programs, new routes, something internal administration, and etc. etc. Yeah, but people in the streets, maybe in the beginning of April, we started to notice that there are not so many people in the streets. So we should have masks when we go out of our houses. So, and accidentally, it was really, really serious. But our president, they did, not only president, but government, they did everything to stop. I cannot say to stop this pandemic because we don't stop it yet. So, but they did everything to protect our society, to calm down. And for the moment, we cannot say that it's so serious nowadays in Moscow, because if something was really dangerous for society, government would never open schools, would never open restaurants, would never open malls, and even exhibitions. So, and for the moment we are here, we are wearing masks, we control social distance. So we wear gloves, we use sanitizers. Right.
No, that's great.
That's it.
That's great. Any comments from your side, Vlad? Thank you, Anastasia.
Yeah, well, well, the period was a tough one. I mean, like in any other country, I assume, you know, and for people it was definitely hard for generally for Russians and for as probably anywhere in the world, you know. So it was a long period, you know. People were working from home. There were a lot of restrictions implemented, you know, like social distance, like Anastasia said, like wearing masks everywhere, and all all the cinemas were closed and all the restaurants and hotels were closed and so on. But here we now, in the middle of September, and in Russia, generally speaking, life is coming back to normal. It started to come back to normal starting from August. From August this year, and now we have all the restaurants are open, all the hotels are open, museums and even cinemas are open. So obviously we taken into considerations all the precautions measures. Yes, precautions measures that you need to take. Like wearing mask, like making sure that there is a distance between tables, between people. But life is getting back to normal here, as we see from official statistics. Let's call it like that.
Let's call it like official statistics.
Exactly.
We have our own official statistics.
Yeah. Well, numbers are going down, but generally speaking, nevertheless, official statistics, as we see now. Like these temporary hospitals that were built in big exhibitional centers, they're being dismantled now. So basically, whatever the statistics said, if the things were not good, no one would dismantle those hospitals, temporary hospitals. So yeah, life is getting back to normal, and we're happy to see that borders are opening up with some countries, So we, as Anastasia said earlier, there are several countries that that can come to Russia or where Russians can travel to. Mm-hmm. So, and we we can't wait, for borders to be completely open, to welcome people in Russia, for Russians to travel. So this is, I'm sure the whole world can't wait for it,
Everybody is so excited to get on a plane and go to their first place. I mean, it's going to be, I think that there's going to be a massive demand, and we're all going to have to be ready for it. So it sounds like you've done everything, like Anastasia mentioned, doing some of the internal stuff, like getting everything like a fine-tuned machine. So when the demand comes back, you'll be ready to rock. And when the demand comes back, can you take me through a little bit of the Russian visa process and how that works from your side and what guests can expect?
Yeah, it's quite simple, actually.
Okay.
I never understand when people, they're just afraid. Oh no, Anastasia, we have to have visa. It's so complicated. It's so expensive. And actually last year we had started to issue electronic visas for St. Petersburg, for Kaliningrad, and for Far East, for my native city, Vladivostok, etc. So this process is quite simple. So you just need to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website, fulfill your name, your passport details, your date of traveling. Just insert there your booking reservation of the hotel, and in 3 working days, you will have on your email 8 days visa to Russia, to those cities. But the only point I would highlight that it's only for 53 countries for the moment.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not all countries are on the list, but as far as I know, our government is working on that.
Is the US on the list?
US and UK, unfortunately, no.
But generally speaking, yes. So most of the European countries are on the list, with unfortunately exception to UK, and US is still not on the list. But for those European countries, this electronic visa procedure starting from January 1st, 2021. Will be with these electronic visas, they'll be able to travel through entire country. Not only St. Petersburg or Kaliningrad, but now it's Moscow and any other city in Russia. But even for US citizens, the visa procedures is not as scary as it seems, and it's very simple and very easy. To describe you the process, basically all we need from the side of, let's say, US citizen needs their passport details information, and we basically issue a visa invitational letter, tourist visa invitational letter, and tourist visa invitational voucher. We have a online system where you can do it. It's super easy, you know.
Right.
And so basically, we receive passport details. We send these 2 documents, and the person takes these 2 documents to Russian embassy and basically applies for visa there, and receives it in 5 to 7 days, if I'm not mistaken. So the process is really simple. It's not complicated. It's not scary. We will support with all the documents from our side. So it's really not as scary as it seems. You know.
No,
really,
definitely
really
not. And usually what we do is like for countries that require more labor intensive, let's call it, visa processes, there are visa expediters in the US, but it sounds like you would be sending me documentation for official letters of invitation, et cetera, that we would need to provide for the client. And the client doesn't have to do anything, which is
just take your documents and go to apply.
And that's it. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then get on a plane and go. It's no problem. Well, we're shortly, unfortunately, we're running out of time. I've got 2 questions. Number 1, is Yolki Palki still a thing? How do we explain what Yolki Palki means, first of all, and what it is for people that have no clue?
I see.
Well, it's like people are like, what does Yolki Palki mean? And the easiest way that I could explain it is like if you drop something like, and we say like, oh shit, and like, like, oh, Yolki Palki, right?
Yeah, you can say it. You know, it's like it's not as modern, but you can say
yours is much more polite.
Yeah, but still a thing. Yes, still a thing.
So it's in a funny manner.
What I mean, could you explain to the audience what the actual place is? Because you're going to see it everywhere. What's the restaurant?
What is the meaning?
No, not the meaning, but like the restaurant. Is it still around? Is it?
Yes, we have this restaurant. Yeah, we have it.
Yolki Palki never dies. It's everywhere.
Yeah. If I talk about the restaurant itself, still exists. You know, it's just let's call it a Russian traditional cuisine and with buffet options. So still exists. But the meaning of the name of the restaurant, you know, this word is very interesting. Yeah, like Oshi.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that would be really fun if we got like a chain restaurant called Oh Shit in the United States. Last question for both of you. Do you have any parting comments for guests considering a trip to Russia after COVID, of course?
After COVID, what we can...
Anything you would like to say to people considering a trip to Russia or thinking about it? Anything you'd want to say to them?
The first thing is to take positive vibes. To have a good mood.
For sure.
That they're flying to Russia and they will be in a safe country. We will take care about their time here. We will bring them great memories in our country. We will take them to must-see places. We will take them around the places with an exclusive access. We will bring them a memory and impression of a life being here in Russia. And this is our main goal, and what we do and how we do. And what else can I add to people who will travel after the COVID? Don't be afraid of this virus.
I agree.
Just stay positive, and no virus will access your, your body, your territory, etc. Positive vibes.
Yes, positive vibes and thoughts become things.
Yes.
For sure. What about you, Vlad?
Yeah, well, Anastasia said most of the things, what we do, but generally speaking, traveling is a way to open the world, to feel the world. And experience in Russia, can really be an essential part, because the country is so big, so unique in the matter of culture, mentality, and things it can present, to a person, So we can't wait to see you, to meet you in Russia, and show you everything, and let you experience these unique places, unique people, and really take these memories with you throughout your life, So
That's perfect. That's perfect. So without further ado, below is the contact link if you want to plan a trip to Russia. And I can't wait to show you my old home. I mean, this is very, very personal for me. I love this destination. And yeah, I want to thank Anastasia. Thank you so much. Vlad, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I can't wait to get the word out to the guests for sure.
Thanks, Justin. It was a real pleasure.
We can't wait. We can't wait seeing you here.
Yes, very soon. Take care.
Okay, take care.
All right, ciao,
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Smart Aspirations. Justin Huff is the manager of Swaggy Swan Travel. For all travel-related inquiries, please visit www.swaggyswan.com. That's www.swaggyswan.com. And click Inquiries. Have a stupendous day, and we'll see you next week.